Hello, everybody. Everybody, hello. Welcome to a very special Whetstone Wednesday brought to you by your friends at Copy That. I have with me a Roderick. Alex will be joining us shortly. Lindsey just got some work slapped on her desk like 15 minutes ago, so she might come in like a little bit later, just for like 5 minutes to poop on somebody's copy and then say hi and then leave. But before we get into all that, let me explain very quickly what this is going to be all about. Whetstone Wednesday, for those of you not in the know, is our bi-weekly, which means twice a week or once every other week, I can't tell which, review stream where we actually look at real copywriting written by real people who want to be real copywriters. It's available to people who subscribe to patreon.com/the copy that show. And what we do is we put out a call for copy every other week. And we basically say, hey, let us review your copy on stream. We'll give you some notes and you can ask questions in the chat. And hey, presto, everybody wins. This particular stream, the copy that we called out for was outreach, cold emails. We asked for your Upwork profiles. We asked for any personal brand or like personal website copy. We asked for all of it because we know that over the past month, we've been focusing really on putting out as much content as possible to help you get better at getting clients, improving your outreach, et cetera, et cetera. And so this particular What's on Wednesday is a natural extension of that effort. Rod, is there anything that you would like to say to the lovely people that are joining now or 10,000 years in the future?
Yeah, I'm sorry in advance.
Well, hopefully Alex will come by to temper our meanness with his nice British reservedness. Do we have any questions in the chat? Oh, can't wait to learn today. We don't do any learning here.
No. It would
Let's
involve
see.
reading, which copywriters are incapable of.
Yeah, they are copywriters. They are not copy readers. It's true. So without further ado, why don't we take a look at our first piece of copy that we received? It's actually the second piece of copy, but the first person who submitted did not correctly share her access to her Google Drive. So we legitimately cannot look at her copy. So in the meantime, however, let me actually do this and zoom in. And I want to make sure that everybody can read this. Everybody good?
Beautiful.
Lovely. So let me go into the Discord and provide some context. They will not be able to make it, but they will watch the replay. That is all the context that we have for this, which is, I am assuming, a cold email that they are sending to people to hopefully get work. Okay. I shall read. Hey, first name. I wish I could be as great a cook as you are. Those eggs look amazing. Picture of his Instagram post. I wanted to ask you about your coaching sales page. You have a great sales page for your course. Include screenshot of part of sales page. But about your coaching sales page, part of sales page picture. Is there a reason the coaching sales page is so short while your course sales page is not? Thank you. P.S. Creating a compelling sales page and email marketing is my favorite project. I think we can help each other. I'll let you start this one.
Okay. I mean, so first things first, this is a cold email. I always want to see your subject line and your preview text for that. And so not knowing how you're getting people to open the email makes it a little bit harder to judge like what you're doing inside the email. So just, off the bat that.
Yeah.
I think it's good that you're trying to engage this person with their content and demonstrating like, hey, I'm not just copy pasting this to everyone. You're having pictures of their posts. You're talking about things they're doing in their copy. That's cool. It does feel a little bit repetitive. Like you say coaching sales page, coaching sales page, creating a compelling sales page. It feels a little bit stiff. typos are bad, favorite project, and you have like exclamation point period. Also, or sorry, go ahead. You go.
Yeah, my big issue with this is it's attempting what many are calling personalization. But I have to ask everybody watching right now in the chat, if you received a message from somebody about an Instagram post, and this was the message you got about that Instagram post, say for example you were making eggs, would this feel like a good conversation starter to you? Why in the chat and in the chat? What do you guys think? Honest opinion. And then there's going to be a 3-minute lag between my request and people actually responding. Rod, would you put an N or a Y in the chat?
I put an N, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think I wish I could be as great a cook as you feels awkward. First of all, just someone who like does a lot of cooking, considers themselves a cook or a chef or culinary expert. If that's not the way that they're framing themselves, try to steer away from that because it sounds a little bit diminutive. Also, what's like a PC word for this? You don't want to sound like you're sucking up to somebody, because the relationship you want to have with this person is as partners. And so if you come in and you're like, oh my God, you're so great, I love you so much, I wish more than anything I could work with you, like you're kind of putting yourself down here and you're putting them up here, and so then it's hard to have that one-to-one engagement and like take each other seriously. And so if I got a message from someone like that was like talking up to me like this, as I often do actually, like it's hard to read what they're saying as anything more than like fangirling about your business.
Yeah. And by the way, I just received word that there's, I guess my mic is sounding a little muffled. So if you hear any audio issues, Rod, please let me know.
Okay.
But we're getting some notes about this particular opening. Doesn't feel authentic, low effort, not meaningful. It's a personal domain, but not something professional. Then there is no correlation. It is forced. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for me, like, yeah, arse kissing basically. And listen, a compliment goes a long way. But what this is doing is functioning to show the person that you have engaged with something that they've put out into the world. But just because you've engaged with something that they've put out into the world doesn't make it seem that you've done so meaningfully. Mm-hmm. And it certainly doesn't make you seem credible as a result. And so a better approach would be something that Alex spoke about in his masterclass last week about engaging with ideas that they actually have put out into the world. For example, if a person has been on a podcast and they've shared an anecdote, talking about that in the context of what you do or what it did for you would be more interesting and more meaningful, because then it actually does feel like you're engaging with them rather than showing them a picture of his own Instagram post. Yeah. Another thing to kind of keep in mind here is that if you're just like picture, a lot of email service providers are going to look at that and be like, is this spam? This might be spam. And so pictures can actually, it's not a guarantee, but can sometimes be a little bit of a trigger, a red flag when it comes to actually throwing stuff into a spam folder. Mm-hmm. Another thing to kind of keep in mind here that I'm noticing is I wanted to ask you about your coaching sales page. And so this is your rocky transition. You have a great sales page for your course, not particularly detailed, and you're just showing the sales page. But about your coaching sales page, is there a reason the coaching sales page is so short while your course sales page isn't? Here would be my snarky response to this person if I were the business owner receiving this email. You're the marketer. You should know. Where does that conversation go? How does that question prompt further investigation or question? Oh my God, a wild Alex appeared.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, this is a brand new setup. So do I sound okay? Do I look okay? Are there any glaring issues?
You look
I think you
fantastic.
sound amazing.
Thank you, guys. You guys don't, and I'm wondering if that's an issue with my headphones, because I doubt you guys both sound bad.
So, if I sound bad, then it's probably a problem with my microphone.
I'm hoping so, even though that's selfish, because I don't want to have to go into the back of the PC.
You said I also sound bad, though?
Yeah, but for a different reason. Like, I think, Rod, you just sound bad because you're at work and you're like in a pod.
In a bubble, yeah.
I think Sean sounds a little bit muffled. Does anyone in the chat agree with that, or is that just my?
People definitely agree with it.
Brilliant. It's not, sucks for you, Sean.
It does. It does. This is a fancy microphone with a fancy setup.
It's going in and out a little bit too.
Oh no,
dude!
But maybe that's as simple as just like adjusting like the sensitivity or something. I don't know.
It's listenable. It's certainly not bad. It's just I worried because there's a clear difference to how you usually sound. So I wondered if it was my new stuff. Can't hear you now.
You know exactly what you just said.
Dude, say again.
How about this?
It's still muffled for me.
The same, yeah.
I do think it might sound fine. Don't like it might be my headphones. Anyway, I don't want to. Everyone can understand you, and the chat seems happy, so that's the most important thing. I don't mean to come in and lampoon the stream.
How about now?
I'm not going to comment any further because I don't want to depress you.
God damn it!
But it might be me. It might be me.
No, I think
it's not.
Yeah. Cool.
It's him.
What the hell is the point of investing all this fucking money into like good audio equipment if it still comes out sounding muffled?
Now you're quiet too.
Yeah, I think it's doing like an automatic volume adjustment thing, which like I don't want it to.
There's a setting in StreamYard for that. I don't know if you have it ticked.
How about this? How about now?
The volume is good. The muffling is still present.
You're gone.
God damn it.
It almost sounds like you have a cover over your microphone. That's almost how it sounds, which I know you do, but yeah, people can hear you.
Yeah.
So that's the key thing for this stream.
All right. Well, I just said my piece about this particular email. Alex, if you have any notes, please jump in. I'm going to continue to futz around in silence.
I've just read this, and here's what I will say because I know I came in and we're critiquing it as we should be, but for whomever wrote this, I still think this is better than most outreach I get, so that's good, right? Everything that Sean has said, and I assume Rod has said before I joined, like all valid points. Absolutely. The transition is fiddly. I spoke about the other week when I was doing my masterclass around this idea of trying to make attention grabbers natural and related to the point of the outreach if you can. And if you can't, then it's fine to have them, but be very, very sincere in that. A reason that you're talking about it, so like, I wish I could be as great a cook as you are. Those eggs look amazing. Then talk about why you were on the Instagram page, or say like it drew your attention because you were trying to find like more stuff around this certain hashtag. You saw their stuff come up, saw the eggs, thought they looked amazing, and then you happen to do this thing as well. But the best thing you can do is always link those attention grabbers to something you're about to talk about. Usually that's around the business or around something that the person has done recently, which is why you found them, i.e. they were on a podcast or whatever. They seem to work well. I probably can't add much more. I just want to say that whoever did do this, don't despair. This is still the fact that you're kind of putting anything in front of them that they're going to be like, hey, no one ever tells me about that. No one ever says that to me. And they have just posted like eggs on their Instagram. They're at least going to open it and read it.
Yeah.
I don't know what the subject line is, but my assumption is a similar thing.
That actually brings me to an interesting point or something interesting I think this person did that has potential to be kind of good. And that's the question they ask here, like, is there a reason the coaching sales page is so short while your core sales page isn't? I think typically what we would expect in cold outreach is to have a very clear CTA about, like, do you want to work together? Would you like to have a call? Yada, yada, yada. What this person is doing is, like, poking the other person to engage back with them and start a conversation which would hopefully lead to that sort of outcome, and then build rapport through that interaction, which is something that we might see more in, like, social media, like Instagram DMs or something like that. And I think that is a good way in if you feel like your offer is not something that most people are just going to accept at face value on your first interaction. You just need to be very conscientious that if you're sending someone an email like this, most people are going to look at that and be like, I don't feel like answering this random person's question. So be very aware of the medium where you are when you're planning out your engagement strategy.
For sure. And I spoke about this as well, but I like to go down either two routes, and I've done both of them successfully, and it's not like one is better than the other. I either like to be extremely direct and upfront with my offer and what I'm talking about and why, you still use an attention grabber to make sure they open it, but, be direct, summarize what you actually want, because these people are busy, they appreciate it. And it's so embarrassing. Like, everyone can tell when there's an ulterior motive. Like, so it's a bit cringy if you're trying to, like, push your way into, I'm going to ask you about your sports team first, and, like, then we're going to go into this. I'm going to pitch you directly. I always like to, you can still use a sports team thing as attention grabber, but still summarize what you want. Don't, like, end with some kind of cringy question like, oh, let's be friends first. There's that route, being direct, which was the one I used most. There's the other route, which is extremely indirect, which is almost like a long game, i.e. you position the pieces on the chessboard so that you are going to meet this person at an event and you bump into them and you have an ulterior motive going in, but it's so far around the houses that, like, that they wouldn't even have expected that it was going to be a pitch to begin with. I think I've spoken about this before, but when I was looking for an e-commerce distributor, I saw one that I really wanted to work with, but they only took selective clients. I purposely watched a podcast that this person was on, messaged in the podcast, and then emailed them after the podcast, a live stream, and then emailed afterwards saying, hey, I had a further question about this. Can you elaborate? Because I didn't really understand it, or something like that. Got into a regular conversation with them, had like 3 or 4 email things, mentioned in one of them, like, oh, I have a business and I'm actually looking for this, which is why I asked. Then that led to an offer where he was like, oh, well, I'm sure we can find space for you here. That's what I mean by round the houses, but 9 times out of 10, I like to be direct. So yeah, agree, Rod. Hard agree. All right. Next
thing.
Yeah.
Then we have this page from Mr. David Bruckner.
There's a question in the chat real quick. $1 Million Guy, if you want to have your copy reviewed, you can do that by joining our Patreon and the Discord and submitting your copy there. The Discord's anybody can join, but in order to get your copy reviewed on streams like this, you got to join the Patreon.
The what?
Patreon, like the patreon.com /
No, they have to join the patreon.com / the Copy That Show.
To copy that show.
Just joining Patreon, that will do nothing.
Wait.
You should join someone else's Patreon and we'll create the copy.
Wait.
We should. That'd be a great charity idea. Then,
Yeah, go give $5 to Natalie Wynn ContraPoints, and we'll review your shit.
I still need to watch her video on Twilight.
It's really good. Anyway, let's focus. All right, so we have this. Can everybody see the window?
Yes.
We should probably try to zoom in a little bit. Okay. Accept all. So we got a direct response copywriter here. Oh my god.
Uh-oh.
My computer is acting up.
I think that's the formatting for the Zoom.
There we go. All right. Everybody can see this?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Direct response copywriter, landing pages, email marketing, $25 an hour. And then, Rod, you're more the expert when it comes to Upwork pages. Why don't you take the lead on this one?
Yeah, will you scroll back up a little bit just so we can see like the title? Okay.
Yeah.
Or down. Yeah, perfect. So direct response copywriter, landing pages, email marketing. $25 an hour. Then sales copy, PPC ads, email marketing, growth partner. I guess I'll just read through the entire thing and then we can talk about it. If you're a business owner or slash entrepreneur, you know how a great marketing strategy combined with killer copywriting is fundamental for the success of your business. Now, when you see your website isn't getting any clicks, your emails are not getting opened, and most importantly, people are not buying from you, the problem might be in your copy. That's why you need powerful writing. Once you can connect with your audience and speak directly to their hearts and minds, they will take action. Why you should work with me. Growth partner. I'm not just going to write copy for you. I'm invested in your success. That's why I will also look at where your traffic comes from and help you optimize your strategy. Marketing strategy. Do you understand the 3 core steps of every buyer journey ever? The most basic of facts in your strategy, but it'll keep holding you back from achieving your business goals, aka sales, if you keep ignoring these. Research. Look, copywriting is 80% research. If you ever hire a copywriter that goes straight into writing, run. Your message will not see any positive results if you don't know or understand your target audience. Constant learner. I'm always investing my time studying copy, marketing, and psychology so I can deliver quality work and results to you. Don't hesitate to reach out to me and connect if you're looking for sales funnels, email sequences, Facebook/Google ads, landing pages, sales copy, direct response.
We have testimonials and skills. Anything else worth seeing?
No.
All right.
This is I'd say this is like a B minus. It does a lot of stuff.
C++.
Oh, okay. I think compared to the average profile I see, that's what I'm scoring it against. It does a lot of things correctly, and he's trying to do some things that I think just fall a little bit short. But there are also a lot of opportunities here to improve it. Alex, what would you score this?
I would probably put it at C, but purely my reason being, and this is why I always have to take Upwork with a grain of salt, is that how many people who are hiring you go to your Upwork profile just because they're browsing people, and how many go because you've applied for a job? I don't know, because I didn't use Upwork.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I personally, my gut tells me that a profile should be crafted for people who are checking you out post pitch, like rather than browsing. That's what my gut tells me. Whether that's right or not, I don't know. And in that way, I feel like it should always be a supplement to a pitch. So if you have sent a pitch to someone and then they're looking, and then you come up on their feed of applicants, it needs to grab them, and it needs to be like the thing that, oh right, this person is actually going to be great because what I need from my project is displayed immediately in the pitch. This profile, I feel like, is a bit too passive almost. It's kind of starting from the very beginning. Like, if you're a business owner, you need this thing. And like, I feel like that the first kind of 4 paragraphs of this are just fluff. Yeah. Like,
because you don't need to sell somebody on copywriting if they posted a job about how they need copywriting.
That's my thinking.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, for example, like, what are the 2 ways that people are going to get to this page? Either they looked for a copywriter, so they know why they need powerful writing, or 2, you pitch them on a job that involves writing, and they checked your profile to make sure that you're good at it. Mm-hmm. So that they already know that they need powerful writing. Yeah, I do agree with the Dan Kennedy sentiment. Like, when you sold somebody on an idea, you need to sell them again and again and again. But I don't think that this is the way to do that. And you want to sort of acknowledge and understand how people get to your profile and write with that in mind.
Yeah. Go ahead, Alex.
No, I was going to say, I know this is, I see, is it this David? Sorry, did we say this was? Yeah. I see David has at least one testimonial like below. So I don't know if that's the extent of his career. so far, or if he also has like other testimonies he can pull from other people like outside of Upwork. But to me, the strongest thing that you can possibly do is at the top. You don't even need to quote people, but just immediately prove what you have done for others. Even if that's taking like a bland headline like that you had before, your client had before, and then showing like with a bunch of arrows what it turned into. Even better if you can do that with results, but demonstrating immediately what you can actually do, I feel like is more impactful than reselling, because that in itself is reselling the idea of a copywriter. Demonstration is the best proof. And on something like Upwork, especially where you're pitching in tandem often, I feel like more profiles should perhaps adapt to that.
Yeah. One thing I will say about this sort of like selling the copywriting aspect in here is it also depends a little bit on what sorts of jobs you're applying to. Because if you're like, let's say you're applying to jobs that are like marketing or growth strategy or whatever, if like in your pitches you're framing like the big problem that people have is like they focus so much on strategies that they're not thinking about executions or quality of executions, and you're introducing copywriting as like the sort of like secret that actually unlocks the potential of those strategies. Maybe there's a time and a place to do something like this where it's like, hey, you think you need this, you think you need that, and you've tried it a million times, it's never worked. Well, the reason why is that you've lacked someone who has this understanding of copywriting. I think that execution has to look differently than how you've presented it here. But if you're coming at other jobs from the angle of a copywriter and trying to sell people on that using your expertise in this field, then maybe that could be relevant in some situations.
We always talk about how the offer is the strongest thing,
Mm-hmm.
I hire on I usually use Fiverr rather than Upwork when I hire out for things. It doesn't tend to be copywriters. It tends to be things like video editors or like who could do specific, who are doing specific like medical like things. But the ones that always kind of catch me are the ones who up top say like guaranteed response in 2 hours or like within 2 hours. Immediate communication. I'm trying to think of the last profile I saw of the person I hired. It was like immediate communication, unlimited revisions, completed 50x projects in this specific field. That was what got me looking and going, okay, cool. Like they seem like they would be up my street. And when I break down my decision making. I was purely going for, what am I looking for here? I'm looking for reliability. I'm looking for someone who I can have immediate contact with and someone who I know is going to get the job done well. And I feel like if you're putting a job out there in the world, which is what Upwork is for, that probably comes before someone who is reselling the idea. Like to me. So I almost feel like it would be stronger if at the top it was crafted around that offer of why they're different to other people on here or what the primary benefits are of actually working with them.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think that also speaks to what level of jobs are you applying to? Mm-hmm. If someone wants you to write like PPC ads, they're not going to care about your vision or your illustrious past and whatever. They care more about, can you get the job done? If you're hiring someone for some high level brand strategy thing, in that context, your experience, your perspective on that is going to be a lot more relevant to your ability to complete the job. And so in a situation like that, selling somebody on like the theoretical stuff is going to be more important. So given what this person is pricing and given probably the kinds of jobs they're applying for, I think your take on that is probably the better way to go.
Yeah, perhaps. It's also where I feel, again, and this is probably biased because I didn't use Upwork, but this is also where I feel the Upwork profile is nowhere near as important as the Upwork pitch. Which is something obviously you've discussed a lot for, Rod. And that's the key for me is yes, people will probably look at your profile, but they're only looking at your profile to affirm hopefully what their expectations are of you based on your application, So this should just reaffirm for them that, you have all these things locked down, like that you are good and you have proof and you've done it before and that you're reliable, rather than trying to sell yourself again. Because I feel like you should do that in your pitch.
This is going to border on a line edit, but I think it sort of is the tip of a larger iceberg of problems with this particular profile. I want to read these 2 sentences to you guys, and I want you to close your eyes and go on a little journey with me and see if you can follow the garden path that this sentence is laying down. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yes? No? Okay.
Yes.
Rod, Alex, do you understand the 3 core steps of every buyer journey ever? The most basic of facts in your strategy, but it will keep holding you back from achieving your business goals, aka sales, if you keep ignoring these. You may open your eyes now if you still had them closed.
Yeah.
I
take your point. As should you, David. Go on, Sean. Please finish your point.
I'll let you guys talk, because I do these dramatic readings not to make fun, maybe a little bit to make fun, but mostly not to make fun.
Honestly,
I do it because most people make a fairly simple mistake, which is they don't reread their own writing in an attempt to hear what they're actually saying. Like, I see what's going on here. 3 core steps. Do you understand? Are you packing in here? Every buyer journey, most basic facts. Like, we're using the sort of register of copy here, but it's all sort of thrown into like a garbage disposal, a mishmash, a blender of things. And what's coming out is it's not sensical. And it's not specific. It's not enticing, which is what copy needs to be. One thing that I want to impress upon people watching this now and in the future is that you can have extremely powerful, persuasive copy without any of the trappings of copy. No most, no best, no extreme language, no fanciness. Just speaking to people as though they were people with interests and desires and notions and identifications about the world. And so what I think is going to increase the copy here, not just in this bullet, but the whole profile, is like toning it down a little bit and really focusing on what you're trying to communicate and how you are trying to entice. Because the problem here is not the words on the page. The problem here is that I don't understand why this would be enticing to somebody who popped onto this. And that really is what you want to be thinking about when you review your own copy. Will this be enticing to my target audience? Why or why not? I can't think of a reason why this would be, or many of the other things on here. And so that's something that you got to assess and keep in mind as you're going through your own copy. My rant is over.
I think that, again, perhaps the idea of demonstrating, because this is the point here, what are you trying to demonstrate? You're trying to demonstrate that you're more than just a copywriter. You're trying to demonstrate that you go beyond that. So why not position yourself against what you see other copywriters doing? A lot of people who have hired from Upwork have been burned before, perhaps due to copywriters who are fanciful and care too much about words and don't actually care enough about strategy. So instead, framing this in a whereas other copywriters will argue, about the specifics of words, etc., etc. I understand that the goal is to make money. That's why it's crucial the copywriter you hire understands how marketing strategy works. Even going beyond, like, you can even go beyond that to say, if you don't want to lean into I'm going to do marketing strategy for you, you can highlight, say, I'm not a marketing strategist, but I understand the core. I'm not going to get in the way of your team. I'm not going to step on any toes. hiring freelancers, stepping on toes is a big thing, you know, that I've experienced with teams. I'm not saying those things are good ideas. It's just they're better ways to frame that point than the way that you've done it.
Yeah. Here, we have a question in the chat that I think it's worth answering. What would be helpful to have in an Upwork profile that would set the person apart from the rest of the crowd and be memorable?
Ooh. Can you link to things on Upwork profiles?
You can paste the link, I think. I don't think you can hyperlink text though.
Okay. I was gonna say, can you? Oh well, but you can still, so people could click in the box, right, and that would take them somewhere else. If you can do that, then I would probably have a link going to a video of me, just actually talking and giving an introduction about it. So you're almost getting a free video audit in there. And this is a very basic idea, but having that, even not necessarily the first thing, but the second or third line that you have, just say, like, let's cut the crap. Let's get to know each other. Because you wouldn't hire someone without meeting them. Here's my interview for you. Click the link. Like, I promise it's safe, just a YouTube video. I assume the YouTube link will show up. Goes to a little introduction of you. When I'm browsing people on like Fiverr, or when I'm browsing, but when I'm browsing people on Fiverr, because I've typed in video editor or whatever, I will often look and kind of just do some clicks about the things that they have posted, like ideas that they've had or spec pieces, etc. I imagine Upwork is much the same in that once you have the profiles up, you would see if they did a little link or something, and if it said, "Hey, watch here to for my 20-second summary" or something, I would probably just give that a quick click and have a watch, because no one else is doing that. I assume. I don't hire on Upwork. I've not seen it. I don't know if you can attach a video to your profile. Maybe you can do something like that. I'm not best placed to ask specifically via Upwork, but something like that is the kind of way I would be thinking. Give them a different medium to look at, you know. But that there you go. That's the thing that stands out to me. What would you guys do?
Well, I mean, I've never been on Upwork. I really rely on you two for this particular critique. I know what I would do, like if I were starting out and I wanted to start testing stuff. The first thing that I would do is I would just strip away, like thinking as somebody who's hired on Upwork before. My profile would probably just be all bullets, just pure bullets, like from top to bottom. This is what I've done. This is what I can do. This is, very, foreground the proof that I would probably be likely to do a good job. And then just have only bullets, like single or at most 2-line bullets go through the whole profile of just like, these are my characteristics and qualities, and these are the benefits you get from working with me. That's it. And I know that would set me apart, because most of the people writing profiles think that they need to be written like this, and they don't.
Yeah.
Cool. Has that helped? Any other comments on this profile?
I hope so.
You hope so?
We do have another question that we might as well answer about Upwork. How important are reviews/stars on Upwork these days? It seems like an uphill battle to start now. I would just say that every person who has 1 million 5-star ratings started out getting their first one. And so it really doesn't matter whether you started 10 years ago or start today. Let's actually use a cliche. What's the old expression? Like, the best time to plant a tree was 30 years ago. The second best time is now.
One of my favorites.
So I think reviews are very important. I always check them. I actually think that I just got denied an Airbnb stay because of a bad review that's on my profile. I blame my children. But so reviews are very important, but everybody has to start somewhere. And you can be upfront with people and be honest and say, like, hey, like, I'm brand new to this, and I'm looking forward to proving myself and showing what I can do for your business. So That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I'll also say, like, what those things are really a proxy for is how reliable you are.
Mhm.
And you can't prove reliability beyond just doing the job, like Sean said. And so it's not just the number of reviews or testimonials, but it's also the number of jobs completed. It's also the total earnings. If you've done one job, but you've made like $1 bazillion doing that job, that probably looks a lot better than you doing one job and having made $10 off that job. And so really the thing is just doing work slowly, gradually. It builds your reputation, and the reviews and stuff will come naturally. So don't worry about it. Just try to do the work.
Okay, let's move on to the next thing. These are outreaches. The plural of outreach.
That sounds fun.
Let's move in to this. Let's go to that.
My new PC
can
is
everybody
so
see
cool.
this on the screen?
We can't see anything, Sean.
Oh, God.
Wrong tab, maybe?
Yes.
There we go.
That's fine.
How's this?
Ooh, home gym equipment ecom.
Ooh.
Okay. I will read this one. Home gym equipment ecom. Interesting features. Italian startup. Use double language pitch. Angles 90 grips. Unique product. Will praise them for this. Full set options. Great for someone who wants everything instantly. Things that I can help with. Website optimization. Product descriptions. Homepage description. Newsletter. Okay. Email and Loom video script. Here's the cold email. I will write it mixing Italian and English to make it more unique. The underlined parts will be the ones that I translate into Italian. I'm glad for that. Should I read the underlined parts in a stereotypical, mildly racist Italian accent?
Yes.
If it's like the Super Mario accent.
Oh, God.
Okay, let's go.
I was going to say Mussolini, but yeah, that'll do.
I don't have a guess into what Mussolini sounded like, so.
All right. Subject line. Simon, are you still sure you're going in the right way?
That's not good. That's
Yeah, maybe just read it normally.
that was Mickey
Okay.
Mouse.
All right, we'll read it normally. Simon, are you sure you're going in the right way? Before you say anything, yes, I'm Italian. So this is the subject line, but this is the first sentence of everything. Before you say anything, yes, I'm Italian, and no, I don't suffer from multiple personality disorder, I think. But there is something that I have to tell you. Despite loving your brand and how you framed it, I found many holes in it that are leaking out potential prospects from your business, ultimately leading to reduced sales. You see, I'm a digital marketer specializing in copywriting and funnel hacking with prior experience in helping businesses solve problems like this. I recorded a quick Loom video, which is less than 5 minutes, where I shared some insights into what those problems are and how you can solve them. Also, I really loved one of your products, and I said something nice about it. You're free to use it as a testimonial if you want to. Link, take care, Steph. And then this is the Loom script, but do we want to comment on the email first or no?
I want to comment on the email first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, right. First of all, I like a lot about this.
Mm-hmm.
Is the first thing to say. I think that this has obviously come from watching my video because they've structured it in the same way that I do with how I do my notes. I think that the note taking, if you can just scroll up a little bit, Sean, because I think that's actually really important. I think you've identified some great stuff and you've given reasoning for each bit. Like Italian startup, great that you're. I don't know if this is in Italy or it's like started by Italians, but it's posting kind of worldwide or in America. I'm not quite sure, but regardless, the fact that like if you know they speak English and Italian, I think that's a great thing to pick up on. Like fantastic thing to pick up on. You've identified a product, but you've said, "Oh, I've never seen that before." That's genuine, and I've said this before. Like the best ideas come from a place of sincerity. I genuinely believe that when you actually kind of because you can't fake that a genuine emotion, like you can't fake it. So usually that's a good idea. So you've seen a unique product that you actually like and you want to praise them for it. Cool. And you've noticed something that something else that you feel like would be useful to know as a customer. Then, but I won't go through every single one. But below, you've said here are the things that I think I can help with based on the skills you have, and these are the reasons why. This note taking is great. Like for quick note taking, I can't imagine this took you like too long to do. This is great. This is all you need to do. Anyway, we can move down to the cold email now. Here's my main critique with it. I don't just want to praise you. I do want to give you something to go away with. Here's my main critique with it. And it's the subject line. Because the subject line, even though it's in Italian, which again, if they're used to receiving English emails and you know that, then awesome. Like that certainly helps, and it certainly hits a lot of intrigue. However, are you sure you're going in the right way? I don't know what that means based on a lack of context. Maybe the context means that that's a fantastic subject line. I don't know. But because I don't have it, I'm going to assume you've just kind of said a generic phrase, like, which is the equivalent of, hey, like, are you sure you're like that there's not another way that could work better? Or, hey, do you want more sales by doing this thing? I think this could be a bit more relevant to something they're already aware of. That is my one key critique of this. If I had to just change one thing, it would be that. But again, if it's a business which usually does all their business in English and they get an Italian subject line and the guy is Italian, cool. I think that the rest of the email, is good enough. It passes my good enough threshold. Absolutely. Is this perfect? No. But does it need to be? No. Like, you have shown here, you're not a robot. You've shown that you're only talking to them because of what you're referencing. I think that you're using a few things I specifically recommended, which are telling them that it's less than 5 minutes and letting them know that actually this is really simple and it's easy, being direct with them about what you're trying to get out of this, saying straight up, look, I'm a digital marketer. I want to help you solve this problem. As long as they get past that first subject line, I don't doubt that they will watch this. They will at least click the link. So I think you've done a good job. That is my high-level review of this email. What do you guys think?
I could use a little bit more specificity, because in the email itself, it doesn't really say anything about what the problems are or things that feel like specific to this brand or any of their pages or any of their copy anywhere.
So here's where I will push back on that a little bit.
Ooh.
Because there's one more step that they need to go through, which is watching the actual video. So you need to like open, again, it's just as simple as opening the loop so they will want to click that link. Because they do reference in there, I think they say specifically, what was it? Something about how they talk about, they talk about the problems in the video. So I think this is a fine way of doing it. I don't think there's anything wrong with mentioning something specific, and perhaps you're right that it could do with a bit more specificity. Even just mentioning the product that you want to say something nice about, I think that like is more intriguing, if anything, because then they want to know, oh, well, what did you say about that specific product? So I do agree to an extent. However, I wouldn't give away the farm, as it were, by mentioning too many things.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. Don't give it away. I just want, like, even the tiniest bit, because as is, you could send this exact same thing to any business that operates in English and Italian.
I think that is true. I think that the fact that you're referencing the video that's been recorded and you're saying that I'm saying something nice about your products is enough to show that. But I will take that point that, like, they're certainly showing that it is specifically for this person, which is why I wanted the subject line to be like that. Certainly, is not a bad piece of advice.
Listen. My problem with this email is that I just don't get this joke.
Well, which personality are you reading it with, Sean?
As somebody who suffers from MPD, dissociative personality disorder, I find this joke mildly offensive, almost as offensive as my bad Italian accent.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just tit for tat.
No, I just legit, like, I don't. Can you guys explain to me, what does this mean?
I do. I mean, I think the joke is because they're speaking in both English and Italian. There's two personalities. I do agree. I don't think you need to be humorous here, and I don't think it lands exactly. So I would cut that if I was saying anything else.
And I think particularly given that the people to whom they're speaking are also capable of speaking both English and Italian, and probably don't have multiple personality disorder, the suggestion that being able to do that means that you have that, I think that is probably a good thing just to cut.
You know what I would change that to? I would change it to yes, I'm Italian, and no, this is not an automated email. There you go.
I would change it to yes, I'm Italian, but please don't hold that against me.
What do you got against Italian, Sean?
Are Italians racist?
I'm part Sicilian. I have a natural animus.
Oh, okay, fair enough. We married into a Sicilian family, so I understand. There's a lot of bad blood there.
Yep. It goes back to the First Punic War, man.
let's not talk about like Roman conquests.
Have you guys thought about the Roman Empire today?
Oh God, you know what? When that started going around as a meme, I actually thought like, what is this? Is this like some kind of? This is nice. Like people seem to be liking history, but it's not. It's fucking degenerate, like toxic masculinity stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the worst. Anyway, do you guys want to look at the Loom script?
I would love to.
Sure.
Before we do, I do want to sort of like double down on something that Alex just said, which is, guys, good enough is good enough, and this really does fall into the good enough camp. I wouldn't give it an A, but I also wouldn't not send it.
Yeah,
double negative there for you. I think that like this is hitting the right beats and checking the right boxes for me. So, all right, Loom script. I will continue reading it. Ahem. I don't know if I should use the double language thing here too. I would like to show that I'm good at English by doing this. That's I would say you want this to be a sort of like display of your capabilities. I would only do double language if like you were talking to people who are mainly writing for Italian audiences. But
yeah, I think the call out I do there is like think about what language do they want their copy in, and maybe operate in that language.
Yeah.
But like if they mostly do business in Italian and you can explain it better in Italian, there's no issue in doing Italian. I think conveying the information is like number one priority, and then like the sort of optics of what language you're using should probably be number two.
Yeah, that's a better way of articulating what I was trying to explain. So, hello, Simon. I hope to find you well. I appreciate so much that you took time to watch this, and I'm not going to waste it any further. You see, I stumbled across your brand while browsing the internet for home gym equipment, and I found the store quite amusing. Interesting choice of word. I especially loved the idea behind your A90 Buddy set, which helps prospects have...
Can I stop right now, Sean, instead of continue for a second? This reads very robotic, and you are not going to feel natural speaking this. Look how difficult a time Sean is having just reading this. It's so difficult, in fact, Sean left.
Oh God!
A deleted shot from the universe.
It just says "El Gato no signal," which sounds like it's taking the piss out of your Italian again. El Gato no signal.
Can you guys hear me?
We can still hear you.
Oh no!
This has been the most technically fraught stream ever.
Goodness gracious.
Anyway, oh yeah, that was it. We were talking about how unnatural it sounds. This is. I talk about the idea of scripting versus beating. Jeez, oh my God, he's changed rooms. It's so weird. It's like behind the magic. Okay. No, I was going to say the reason I stopped Sean there was just to highlight that this is why scripting is a dangerous game to play. And that's why I did it. I only did it in one of the examples. I should probably explain what this is I'm talking about. So for anyone who has the CCC, the Copywriting Career Copilot, I made a whole theory masterclass about how to do video audits. And then I also did a load of over-the-shoulder footage of me actually researching, writing, planning, and making video audits, which I did 3 in total. One of them I scripted, and the other 2 I just did what I call beating. Now, beating is just, I could probably think of a better name for it, but beating is just putting down the main points that you want to say. It's just spit drafting your messaging. So you can just refer to it quickly and then say whatever comes naturally. The danger with scripting is if you're not a good script writer, and script writing is a very difficult skill, like I do not consider myself a particularly good script writer. I do think it's quite difficult. If you're not very good at it, it does come across as very, very robotic, and you often end up speaking far more formally than you usually would. And adding in a lot more fluff than you usually would as well. So that's why I stopped Sean.
Yeah, I was feeling the roboticism. It just felt very inauthentic and unnatural.
Yeah.
Like, I especially loved the idea behind your A90 buddy set, which helps prospects have a more natural feeling when lifting weights or their body weight. I never saw a product that can mix uniqueness and actual functionality like this. Like,
yeah,
that's just not how people talk to each other.
If I was if I was beating this and I just had the beat on there, mention A90 buddy set, I would basically just adjust the camera and say, oh, like the A90 buddy set, that is so cool. I've never seen something where you can hold it like that. And again, I'm using the visual medium, yet it still holds the weights vertical. Like I don't know what, or horizontal. I don't know what the fuck it does, but yeah, like that's my point. That's how I would say it, right? I would just say it's so cool. I've never seen something where you can do that, yet it keeps them straight. I cannot wait to try it. I've actually ordered one. That's so much more natural. That was good. Sean, you should do that more in videos, like a newsreader. But that is how you would go about saying that in a natural manner. I would not say as Sean said it.
Yeah. All right, let's press on a little bit, I suppose.
Yes.
I am not here just to praise your product. So we're actually moving into the offer and shit, like everything. All right. Because I have to bring you some bad news. Being a digital marketer specializing in copywriting and funnel hacking. By the way, funnel hacking is not a thing that you specialize in. Funnel hacking is what you would use to describe going into somebody's funnel and analyzing it, like figuring out all the pieces and components that are working. Funnel hacking is what you describe analysis, not something that you do, if that makes any sense. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah, I don't know if you call it a method of analysis, I guess. Yeah.
It's like, if I'm studying a new business and I want to like know how they acquire or monetize customers, I will hack their funnel. But like, I don't go to my computer and do a funnel hacking, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to keep in mind. So being super cool and amazing, I found many holes that are leaking out potential prospects from your store, like your product descriptions that lack bullets explaining clearly the product's benefits.
Right. Go on, Sean.
Yeah, it's like I want to stop there and just be like, I don't want to hammer home the points that we've already made, that it feels unnatural to speak like this. But I feel like there's just a more direct and enticing and compelling way to speak about this stuff, if that makes any sense. If I were to speak to a business owner, how would I want to comport myself or conduct myself to them? I was going through your product pages and I noticed that there wasn't a whole lot of copy there explaining why people would even want to buy these things in the first place. I have to admit, I was a little baffled because I've seen other stores that your competitors have put together, and they all have pretty elaborate product descriptions with bullets highlighting features and benefits for these products. And I was wondering if what you did was either a conscious choice or something that you were putting off for later, or in fact, something that I can help you take care of right now. So, something like that. Something with personality that authentically shows that you've done the research, you know what you're talking about, and you're drawing a comparison that would elicit a feeling of envy from the person watching that, because now all of a sudden my competitors are doing the thing and I'm not doing it. I must do this. That's the sort of one of many ways that you can sort of like pull the puppet strings of emotions in one of these audits, that these looms that you've put together. So
yeah.
I mean, Alex, Rod, was that okay, or what do you think?
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, I think so. I think the last piece of advice I would give on this is just, and I talk about it in the masterclass, but it's to set the agenda for what you're going to talk about. Like you're talking about it over kind of 3 paragraphs here about things that you could talk about. Remember, this is a visual medium. When you're writing the script, you have to remember it's visual. You can, in a couple of sentences, just say, look, I want to talk about 3 things that I noticed, because immediately that opens the loop for, you're not going to leave now until I have revealed these 3 things. So you've hooked them straight away. I'm talking about 3 things that I noticed: your newsletter, something on your homepage, and something that is glaringly missing from your product descriptions. I think each of these could help you, like, whatever your offer is going to be. All you need to say are those things. You just need to say like that in 1 or 2 sentences and say, I would love to start with the homepage and something I noticed straight away. Homepage up, and then actually reference it as you talk through it. Don't think because you're saying the thing, you then need to describe everything about it all in one go. Use the medium that you have.
Me personally, like, this is just a soft suggestion, because I've spent a non-trivial amount of time trying to get better on camera and on video, especially when it comes to extemporating a speech. And one thing that really helped me was just rehearsing, just attempting a draft video of the thing that you want to do to begin with, and then running through and reviewing the tape if you can tolerate watching yourself, and going, okay, that didn't really make sense. Okay, let's tighten up. Okay, I could probably use the visual a little bit better here, or emphasize my points a little bit better here. Mm-hmm. Just reviewing yourself and looking for things to improve will result in you improving, because you'll have these things in your mind. And that ultimately is going to be something that helps you succeed when it comes to this stuff. Because to do video audits and Loom audits like this, you do have to be conscientious of how you conduct yourself on camera. You know, Alex, I imagine the first few that he did probably weren't great, but I also imagine he probably looked at them and was like, oh, cringy, I can do this better.
This is not advice, right? This is not advice. However, I have spent, this is true, I have spent upwards of 3 hours just to record a 6-minute video. And in that, I don't mean the research, the planning stuff. I mean just redoing it and redoing it and redoing it, because I'm so hypercritical of like everything that I record of myself. I've got way better recently, but when I started doing this stuff 4 or 5 years ago, like, oh God, I used to spend ages doing it and redoing it and redoing it. I do not recommend that, but like what I'm trying to get across is number kind of 3 or 4 was probably just as good as the last one. Like, as long as you rehearse, and you can cut if it goes terrible, but like I said, you need to just get used to being okay with yourself, you know? And scripting, I think, I personally found for me, it hamstrung how good I could be, because I was freaking out when I didn't get things right. So I actually think just kind of practicing hitting those beats, and you'll find yourself starting to say the same thing as well, but it's more of a natural script, you know? Right. Do you guys feel like yeah, go on.
Yeah, I feel like we've given enough critiques where Steph can really improve this copy. But let's go down, because there's other outreach down here. So this is, it seems, going to Peloton. Interesting. So we got interesting features: AI-powered personal trainer, smart way of collecting data with surveys, product descriptions, pop-up page, sign-up email. These are things that he can help with. I tried to get the email of a specific person at Peloton, but LinkedIn didn't let me. I'm going to write in the support email.
I have a view of this immediately, if I may give one.
Yep, please.
I just typed in Peloton stock. Any company that you can buy stock of probably isn't one that a video audit is going to work on, because they're going to have official channels for hiring people. And unless they're openly looking for people and there is a hiring manager who you know is responsible for, it can be very difficult to get to them. And I would almost say, like, ironically, you saying such a nice brand wasted like this, I'm tempted to say such a nice video audit wasted on a brand like this, because, you know, it's almost, there's no point almost in putting an hour's worth of kind of work and effort and research into it when there's almost no chance they'll hire you. You know, that's a brutal view of it, but I feel a realistic view of it.
It's more than realistic. It's like for hiring these companies, it's not just, hey, there's a hiring manager, make friends with the hiring manager and they'll hire you. No, it is, there are budgets allocated to departments that are scoped under specific projects that are looked at on like annual or at least like biannual bases, such that like they can't just hire you just because they think you're good. It's like they need to have a very specific reason that fits within the larger context of the company in order to hire you. And then you have to be good. And then you're competing against other people, and they might have to officially put in like an opening out for other people to reply to. It's much more complicated than the sort of freelance world that I think most people here are used to.
Yeah, you know, Peloton counts its successes in on the order of billions of dollars. And so for me, like, say for example, I have an idea for an ad that maybe Procter and Gamble can use to sell, I don't know, cleaning products. They're not going to want to hear from me because my cleaning product marketing idea is not going to move the needle on a company that is making billions of dollars a year. No, Procter & Gamble is going to call up somebody like Rod, or, you know, the people that handle the business side, and then introduce them to Rod. And Rod is going to marshal a whole agency of creatives and copywriters around a unified idea that can span dozens, if not 100 different marketing channels. You know, that's not something that I, Joe Schmo, Sean MacIntyre can do. Rod is the person who can do that. And so you need to think about, like, when you're reaching out to these really large companies, you want to understand, like, more or less, like, what their budgets look like, what their revenues look like. You want to understand how they make money, how they monetize customers, how they acquire customers, things like that. Because if you find a company that's just a little bit too big for you, you're not going to be able to, one, reach people. And even if you do reach people, you're not going to be able to have the impact that you want to have.
Yeah, the P&G example is hilarious because they actually are a client of ours.
I know. I chose that specifically.
Okay, great. We've done some great, fantastic Olympic ads for them. But even like, as freelancers, as people within businesses of a certain size, I think we pride ourselves on doing things like research. We pride ourselves on coming up with good ideas. And unfortunately, I think there comes a point at which you have to understand that the information available to you is simply insufficient to address the needs and business challenges of certain companies. And no matter how much Googling you do about, you know, Peloton stock or, you know, well, their competitors, whatever, you will never be able to have a conversation with the people who run marketing for that company until you have access to the conversations that they're having internally. Because those are conversations that are not just thinking about sales, they're thinking about things like brand affinity and forecasting for the future. And they're thinking about integrations with existing campaigns or collaborations that they have coming up. And unless you know all of those things, you're not going to be able to speak to them at a level beyond just, hey, sell more stuff. And when you're making billions of dollars, like Sean said, sell more stuff is like cute, but sell more stuff doesn't easily integrate into like the dozens of campaigns that they have rolling out at any given time. And so maybe there's a point of humility that I think we all need to kind of embrace a little bit more. You can't just go and pitch Apple and be like, hey, great idea for the iPhone.
Hey, your marketing fucking sucks, Apple. Have you ever thought about doing good copy?
Yeah. And it's funny because that's a big tension that I feel like exists between like the direct response and the brand side of advertising, where it's like direct response people look at the kinds of ads we'll put on during the Super Bowl or whatever and be really critical, like this CTA was so weak or this doesn't make sense or whatever. But like
we did that.
we literally had a stream and did that, even though I'm on the other side of that thinking about the kinds of conversations we're having. And it's like,
right. I should put myself in the middle of you two again as the buffer, the buffer zone between brand and direct response.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like it's cute to have those conversations. There are certainly good points made there, but also good points don't matter if you don't have access to the political channels in which the real conversations are being had.
I mean, I did message you the other day, Rod, and I said, you know, if Wyden and Kennedy in London like do want some cynicism and someone to walk in and just say, hey, where are the CTAs? Like I'm available. £200 an hour.
Where are the CTAs at?
Pay me money to tell you normal things, please. Anyway, have we got another thing to review?
Yes, I'm trying to pull something up right now. I apologize. My because I'm on a different setup, I'm still learning how to interface with all of this correctly.
That's quite all right. I mean, I was just looking at my new PC, which is awesome, by the way. And there are colors on it. I've got like a rainbow thing, which I don't know how to turn off. I think there's a software somewhere, probably. Sean's gone again. He doesn't like rainbows.
Oh my god.
He's very anti-rainbow. But yeah, it's cool. Oh, there's my old one. There's my old PC right there. No rainbows.
I suspect that my digital camera is just getting too hot in the setup that I currently have. So that might be something I have to fix at some point in the future. But I actually, before we moved on to the next thing, I wanted to have a quick sidebar conversation about the whole brand direct response thing, because I think that I suspect from having spoken to a lot of newbies that people just have a terrible concept of money and how money works, where value comes from, how value works. And we've been talking around like being realistic about your ability to move the needle for $1 billion company. A Super Bowl commercial can move the needle for $1 billion company because literally tens of millions of people are watching it, if not over 100 million people. You know, you are not going to put out a PPC campaign that's going to touch 100 million people, at least not for a long time in your career. But what you can do is you can actually go to a $14 million company and turn them into a $15 million company. And guess what? If you can do that, if you have the ability to add 1 million in revenue to a $14 million company, there's no reason that they have to not pay you $100,000 of that money. The thing that you have to understand, and I was actually talking to a couple of copywriter friends of mine about this last night because I went to a job meeting. It was at Loyola University, and it was like a innovator entrepreneur, like local entrepreneur meetup. And all it was entrepreneurs having one-on-ones with students and the general public and like just meeting people. And it was like there was free food, there was free booze, there were hundreds of people at this place. And it was all just business owners in the $5 million to $100 million in revenue range. And guess what? They were showing up at this event looking for people to help them grow. Most of the people watching this have probably struggled with the idea of like networking events, but like I have to be big to go to these. No, you don't. They happen all the time, every single day, all over the world, probably close to where you live too. And one of the things that you have to understand is that these businesses do want to work with you because they know that, say, for example, if you can kick their copy up from F tier to D tier, the copy still doesn't need to be great, but that's going to be hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in sales long term, just from going to F to D. And so one thing that you I want to impress upon you is that it really doesn't matter the size of the company as long as you could deliver the results. And if you can deliver good results, you can make a lot of money doing this. That's it. That's the spiel. That's the spiel that I wanted to give you.
I double down on that 100%. That you're so right, Sean. And I've said this. I don't think I've ever articulated it as well as I want to. But it is. There are so many businesses. There are so many businesses, guys. So many. Millions of businesses, and it is. It's insane how low the number is. For how many do marketing well, right? Like none of them do marketing well. Maybe 1 to 5% of them do marketing well. So you've got 90+% of businesses out there who do not do good marketing, do not do good copy, do not think about how to utilize their list properly, do not think about where the traffic is coming from and how to up conversion rates. And if you're taking a $1 million company, a £500,000 company, a $10 million company, whatever, those are such realistic numbers, as Sean mentioned, to be increasing significantly. I 10x'd literally 10x'd a business just by focusing on its emails and its landing pages, which is why I shill those things so damn much, because I've worked for many businesses and in many businesses since where those two things are such massive players in growth. And if you can just get past that first kind of like reluctance or hesitation to reach out to these businesses with an offer, if you do that, it becomes so much more likely that you can then replicate that success for the simple fact that no one else is doing it. So please start. It's easy. I don't want to say it's easy, but I feel like it's probably easier than you think it is to make a real impact on businesses and then earn money from that.
Yeah.
Other spiel over.
I feel like we should do a video with that spiel at some point.
Yeah, we should do a video about value and offers, like actual creating value and turning that fluffy term into something that actually makes sense and you can quantify. I'd be up for that.
The person that I've been watching recently who I think articulates those ideas extremely well is a YouTuber by the name of Charlie Morgan. So if anybody watching this has the occasion to watch a Charlie Morgan video, I highly recommend it because he's very bright and he talks about all this business stuff and value and where it comes from and like how it gets transmitted through societies and businesses and stuff like that. It's very intellectually stimulating, and it's also very, how should I say, powerful once you start to understand where he's coming from. So that being said, this is still the critique stream where we are talking about people's outreach. Oh my God, it's just a rod.
Oh no.
Hey, there we go. So this is another Upwork profile. We have both the profile as well as an example of the outreach itself, response to a job. And then let's just go through it. Direct response copywriter. What are your guys' thoughts on labeling yourself as a direct response copywriter in Upwork?
Meh.
Do people search for it? That's my question.
Yeah, that would be my concern personally.
If you're trying to get jobs with like direct response people, then yeah, sure. But if you're just trying to work with like average Joe business guy, I don't think most of them are searching for direct response. Never mind copywriter.
So yeah.
In my experience, having worked with a number of businesses in the past in varying capacities, I would say the vast majority of them do not know what copywriting is. They want a writer, they want sales, they know that they have pages and words go on those pages. But if you say, hey, I can make those words because I'm a copywriter, that won't land for them because they won't know what that means. And so if your headline for your profile is going to be direct response copywriter, I would probably put some other stuff in there, or even like leave that off as like a third thing in a list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, for me, ad man would be better, but you know, I'm a geek. I would probably put arsonist in there too. So anyway, $45 an hour. If you need copy for your entire or part of your sales funnel, then I'm your guy. Using my research-intensive writing process, I can produce the following types of copy: ads, landing pages, websites, emails, LinkedIn posts. Take a look at my portfolio to see sample of my work, and let's get onto a call so I can reveal how I would use my research-intensive writing process to produce your copy. What do you guys think of the... This feels like purposeful repetition, but I don't know if it's landing for me.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Your head might be spinning from going through several Upwork profiles and proposals, but you need your copy to check, capture maximum sales in the simplest way possible, resonate with potential clients and guide them toward doing business with you, free your business from the shackles of algorithms on third-party platforms. Then look no further. There's a good chance you found the copywriter you need to unlock sales hidden in your business. Message me to confirm your suspicion. And then we have a portfolio up here that we can... Well, we can't click on that, but it's okay. What do you guys think?
To me, I'm not a fan of this. I think it does one thing that is better than the last one we looked at. In that, I think it's more direct. I don't think it's wasting time with too much fluff. But I think that what is there, I think, needs to be rethought. Even down to things like what is the benefit of using you? That's a very basic question, but I feel like you haven't actually shown what the benefit of using you over someone else is. Seriously, someone pointed out to me what all I've seen is research intensive writing process. And I think this is maybe going to be my issue with most of the Upwork profiles we look at is I feel like it's not actually been demonstrated what you would do differently. I think you start to hit on it when you say your head might be spinning from going through several Upwork profiles. I almost feel like that's the best line in the whole thing because you are at least empathizing with what they are probably going through right now. You know, if you say, look, you might not know what the best copywriter, who the best copywriter is. Let me break it down for you why that's me, right? I think that what you say in those checks afterwards, that for me was the crux of the profile where I should have been like, oh, I get it now. Instead, it just made me more confused. Capture maximum sales in the simplest way possible. Okay, yeah, but why can only you do that? You're not telling me why you could do that. Resonate with potential clients and guide them towards doing business with you. Okay, yes, again, but that's the basic frame of business. And then the third one just confuses me. What a third? Why is my business being shackled by third-party algorithms? I feel like that you're trying to do too much in here without really highlighting what the main benefit of working with you is.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that this can be the start of the profile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the advantage of doing that, bumping this to the very, very top, means that you can then say, then look no further, and then you can explain why you have the ability to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
This then becomes a teaser or a lead, for the rest of the profile, wherein you provide proof of these claims. I agree that this felt a little off for me. I understand what he's trying to do, but I don't think it's landing because, again, it's a very... You're offering a solution in search of a problem, if that makes any sense. And a lot of people just do not necessarily have the notion that these platforms like Google and Facebook and stuff like that are out to get them. Some people certainly struggle. That is a common struggle, but it's not so common that you need to foreground that in such a way that this actually makes sense. So articulate if you need your copy to navigate the complexities of compliance on platforms like Facebook and Google, then look no further. Like that for me would land even better. So, but yeah, I would move this to the top and then like try to provide proof of my ability to do these things like throughout. So
yes.
Yeah, I think if you do that too, then it's just like the work you do after that becomes much more simple. You don't have to worry about talking about who you are, yada yada yada. Just be like, hey, I do this stuff. These are the mediums I do it through, the ads, yada yada yada. Hire me.
Yeah. I actually hate reviewing Upwork profiles because I think they're so dependent on what you're doing with the Upwork profile.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so like to me, an Upwork profile, I explained it. I'm not going to repeat myself, but yeah, like it's so difficult because these are either coming with pitches or they're coming from people who are already searching for the thing. So I think it's difficult because you need this profile to do multiple things depending on who is seeing it. And I would much prefer you to just pick one thing that you're doing with it and go hard on that route. Anyway.
Yeah. Do you remember when we were reviewing Noah's Upwork profile and Alex and I basically dipped for that entire stream, and it was just you, Rod, sort of like leading the charge on that?
I love
was that at your house? I think it was.
Yeah, it was at my house.
We were just we were just chatting about shit, the Roman Empire probably.
I have a feeling that you and I were like talking in depth about the e-com adventure and why we needed to stop it.
Yes, you're a big part of like why I felt I could justify stopping it, because I was like, this is taking too much time for not enough juice, or too much squeeze for not enough juice, and I can't really keep doing it. But I have said I'm going to do it, so I'm going to keep doing it. And you were like, Alex, just fucking stop. And that helped me because I was like, yeah, I'm probably gonna chill out on this because there's too much other shit going on.
Yeah. Anyway,
right.
We have an Upwork proposal here. Just Alex, on your note about Upwork profiles, I also don't like reviewing them. The reason why I don't like reviewing them is because, how do I say this? When I'm hiring people on Upwork, I'll look at the proposal and I'll look at the portfolio and maybe a few reviews, and I'll my main concern really is like, can this person produce copy to the level that I want them to? And most of the time that answer is no. So
yeah.
And the only thing that can tell me that is like actual samples of their writing. So let's look at this cover letter. This is an example of John using the ISVA method to pitch people. Hey, John here. I work in the property space in addition to writing copy, so I can bring great amounts of knowledge to your project. Here's a website homepage I'm working on for a client. Check out my Instagram for property content I produce. What exactly do you do in the property space?
This is, again, just remind me of how Upwork works, Rod. So they've seen a job post about something specific, and then they have sent this as their proposal, right?
As a proposal, yes.
Right, okay. Are you expected in that proposal, like, does it say anywhere, hey, tell them what you would do for this project, or is it like just starting a conversation?
It depends. As a job poster, you have the option to select like questions that you want people to answer when applying for the job, and there is, I think, just a generic cover letter section, and so there may have been other questions that he answered in addition to this. There may have been no other questions that he answered in addition to this.
Right, okay. The thing I'm trying to wheedle out is, was there a specific scope set for the proposals coming in? So, for example, if I had said what the project was about, and I gave some background on the business, and I got this message back just saying, what exactly do you do in the property space? I'd be a bit like, well, I've told you kind of like what I need. I don't really want to start a massive conversation here. That's the only bit that I would err on the side of caution with. I think the rest of this is, again, it's okay in the sense that you're leveraging something that you are doing outside of just writing copy to show why you'd be better at this than just another copywriter. Like, that's fine. But I feel like the call to action, the CTA, is a bit weak. Like just asking one question. I feel like you should be more responsive to what they've already asked. But again, it would be good to know what the context of the job is. Yeah. But I don't hate the idea, especially if this is true and like you're making your own property content. One thing I would argue is why I might explain is why are you also writing copy if you're doing property stuff? Does that mean you're not good at one or the other?
So just for some context for this cover letter, here's what John said. I'm following the ISVA to send pitches on Upwork, and here's the last pitch I sent for a client who wants website copy. Client is a property services company. So knowing that, I'm going to pretend that I am a property services company who put up a post because I want website copy. There you go. If I got this, I'd be like, yeah, I work in the property space in addition to writing copy, so I can bring great amounts of knowledge to your project. That's an example of a statement, a claim that is vague. So I understand the ins and outs of this business as well as what resonates with customers. Like just that slight tweak makes it a little bit more realistic, a little bit more specific. Here's a website homepage I'm working on for a client. That doesn't give me enough context to understand really like how that, like, what am I looking at? Where's the transition phrase there? If I'll give you an example. If you want to see an example of the kind of work that I can do, check out this website homepage I'm actually working on for a client right now. See, a little bit more specificity, a little bit more context. All of a sudden, we're talking about a different ball game here. Check out my Instagram for property content I produce. In this context, maybe that works because you are talking to property people, so that's fine. But then the question, what exactly do you do in the property space? Like, of all the questions, I don't know if I would lead with that one. For a very simple reason, which is like, they're going to have one of two reactions. One is just like, what kind of question is that? Do I need to answer that? What is that? And then the second one is like, well, we put up a little bit of information about our company in the job post, so you should probably already know that. Or if they're a bigger brand, then like, why didn't you use your copywriting research skills to like find this out? So that would be my immediate reaction to this particular like message. I would change the question to be something more along the lines of like, what was it about your original homepage that you didn't like?
Yeah, exactly.
Like be project specific with that particular question. You can still ask, totally ask questions. That's great for these types of pitches. But like make them specific. Make them like, engage somebody in conversation that would feel like it's relevant to the project, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Total sense. Yeah. Did you have anything to say on that, Rod? Because I just wanted to.
I was just going to like hammer in even more on the format you have is actually fine. Just that a level of specificity, getting that in there makes the entire thing pop and be like 20 times more compelling than what you have right now. So just take the time to go there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think that Sean hit the nail on the head there.
No. All right. Anything else to say about this?
Oh, one thing I've been asked for the two of you.
Yeah.
You have a what for the two of us?
An ask.
Oh, I didn't hear the K. Go on.
Can you say hi to my mom? She texted me and said that she's watching the stream.
Hey, Rod's mom.
Hi, Rod's mom. Is she Mrs. Satterwhite, or has there been a divorce? And
yeah, I was going to
there has been a divorce. Yeah, Jackson.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson.
Ms. Jackson, I'm sorry for what we discuss on these streams. If I knew.
Ooh, he is for real.
I've
made that joke since like the age of 6. It never gets old.
Too funny.
If I knew that parents of yours were watching the stream, I would be so much nicer. Hey Rod, have I ever told you how cool you are and what an upstanding gentleman you've turned out to be? No, I've never told you that.
She knows me too well. It's
oh, hi Rod's mom.
Yeah, we are all a fan of Rod here.
What you made, yeah. Okay, let's move on.
All right, I have another Upwork profile for us to look at, and it is set to private.
Wait, that's a good start.
Yeah. So this is what we're looking at. So,
great profile.
I mean, good scarcity. Feels exclusive. I like it. 420.
Nice.
That's also Hitler's birthday, right?
Jesus Christ.
Really?
No, not Jesus Christ. Very different. It's because it's also my best friend's birthday. The day my dog died. So that date is meaningful. Let's continue.
So on that same note, actually, you know the song "I Remember the 21st Day of September"?
Yeah.
The old
disco song? Yeah.
What is it? Earth, Wind, and Fire. I think did it. Yeah. So that's Lindsey's birthday, for one.
Well, that's very useful.
It also was what might have been the worst day of my entire life.
I also regret the day Lindsey was born.
Oh, that's so mean. Rod's mom, discipline your son.
She can't hurt me. She's thousands of miles away.
It's true. It's true. She's far away. I really should get into our Slack and like peer pressure her to come on to stream, but she's super busy. All right. We have this April 20th from Maris. Hey, my name's Maris. I think you and I both know arm wrestling will blow up soon because of the Devon versus Levon match. I saw an Instagram post from Hermes, I'm going to butcher this name, Gasparini, and that's how I saw your shop. I checked it out and decided to write this email. Your shop is lacking a few major things. A, the copy can be better. B, you're not using newsletters to promote new products. I believe when you fix these major things, you will make more money. And I can fix them for you. If you're interested in this opportunity, I'm free in the mornings. P.S. I hope Devon crushes Levon, and I hope Dennis crushes Hermes.
You know what? Before we say anything else, you gotta admire the confidence. There's so much confidence. There's so much value, like perceived self-value in here. Like, obviously, there are some things we're going to say about this, about how this could be improved. But so much of writing persuasively is just not sounding like you're speaking from a position of weakness. And this guy is he's just out there.
Yeah. The word my people have for this is chutzpah.
Yeah. Yeah. Major props.
Yes. I would soften this.
Yes.
Good copywriting is not simply, again, writing from your forward foot, writing from a position of confidence. This clearly has the confidence. What it lacks is, how should I say, finesse.
Delicacy.
If you go up to somebody and say, hey, your shop is lacking something major, here's one of the reasons. Your copy could be better. Okay, great. Why? Why do you think this? And also, who are you? And also, fuck you. If you come at somebody strong, people's defenses are going to be raised. They're going to be up. You're going to get more resistance the harder you go at somebody. If you approach somebody with finesse, then what you find is that filter, that shield, tends to come down a little bit, and it makes speaking to them like a human person easier. So here we have a great example of this at work. I dedicate this message to you. Your shit sucks. You don't want to come at people like that. I think this is a good comment too. You need to be smooth. Imagine you walked up to a girl and this was your approach, or a guy, or somebody in between. You know, like we are accepting of all interests here. But yeah, like, yeah. Imagine going up to a girl and being like, "Yo, your outfit is fucking grotesque. What's wrong with you, woman?" Like
that's negging. Someone
that
said
would be
that
that would be negging to the max. And I don't think that would necessarily get you the kinds of results that you're hoping for.
Not with the kind of people you're hoping to get them with.
You know what?
What else do you guys have to say about this?
You know, one of the. Sorry, Rod, go
on. No, I was just laughing.
Oh, okay. One of the indicators when I get submitted cold emails for me to review, one of the indicators that it's a good cold email is when I don't understand what they're talking about in it, because that means it's specific and it means it's highly relevant to the person who it's meant to be read by. This, in the last few minutes when you guys have been talking about this, I have just gone down a professional arm wrestling rabbit hole, which I didn't even know existed. And one, I am now fully invested and hope Levin wins. And two, it proves to me that, assuming this is going to an arm wrestling store, is what I'm guessing the context of this is, it's going to prove to that person that, well, this person knows their stuff. You know, this cold pitcher gets it. Whether you're a fan of arm wrestling before you sent this, or it was just part of the ploy to get someone's attention, I think it works. But as the others have rightly said, I think the finesse is a what needs work, because, for example, the subject line, my assumption is that's the Levin Devon match is my guess. I haven't actually had that confirmed, but I assume that's what the case is. But still, I would still say, like, that could be made a little better, because April 20th, I might not remember that's the exact date for the match, even if I'm into arm wrestling. So could be a little more specific and relevant to the person who's getting this. However, your barrage of references shows that at least I'm going to have a conversation with you if I am interested in the thing you're offering. I don't just view this as a cold email. So for that, I think you get major brownie points. Well done. However, fully agree with Sean and Rod here that insulting people is not the best way to get them on your side. Always, the Canadian sandwich, right? Like, I finally said it, guys. You got to be nice, and you've got to be nice, and you've got to be nice. Like, it's yes and, okay? So saying, if I love what you guys are selling on the store, thought this was super helpful. Can't find any other decent arm wrestling stores online or whatever. Here's how I would make this better, or here's how I could improve this thing. So that's my main take on this, but I do like it. Anything else to add, guys?
No. Again, as I've said in my master classes before, especially about freelance business and practicing copywriting, like, a lot of what I think good cold email and good outreach comes down to is what you bring to the circle of cred. Like, you are walking up to a table when you reach out to somebody, and you are bringing things with you, and you're choosing what to show, like what card to play in the circle of cred. You can show a portfolio, for example, that would go into the circle of cred. You can bring ideas. You can bring a lot. Personality and confidence is one of the things. That's clearly on display here. But you want to try to match what you put into the circle of cred with what you think the person is looking for or needs. And, I can fix them for you, big, bold claim. It's not necessarily bringing anything to the circle of credit aside from a promise. I want to see what's going to back that up. So let's look at Maris's other bit of outreach. So can you guys see this?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So we don't have a whole lot of information. This is just a cover letter. So let's look at this. Cover letter. Gerd, you are falling for a trap. Or for the trap. Wanting to get rich without providing any value to the world is entitlement. It's hilarious in Iman Gadzhi case because he never actually ran a successful agency. Successful spelt wrong. He's basically bullshitted his way into being someone important. I don't think that making money online is for everyone. I believe if you really want to make a load of cash online, you have to sell your soul for it. And I don't recommend to try to be some guru or some life coach or some famous YouTuber that's just pumping out content that's going to burn you out eventually. This was a quick story rant I pulled out of my ass. You mentioned your audience is leaned towards the make money online type, so I just created a story from a guy who has a very shakable belief, bad experience on it. Also, here's my portfolio of the things I wrote lately. I will say, I do not have much experience with Agora's style of writing nor crypto, but I believe with my researching skills, that's probably better than most copywriters will get the job done. P.S. I'm free in the mornings for calls usually. We can hop on one tomorrow.
Ooh.
Bro, you just need to learn how to be polite.
Stop watching Andrew Tate. People actually do like nice people.
Yeah.
I don't dislike what he just tried to do though. Like, and if I'm reading this correctly, I assume that like the job was something about writing the style of content. And so if you can do the thing and bait the person into like having that big emotional reaction, you can like then prove, hey, I'm capable of writing this stuff in a compelling way. Just the pivot into, yo, JK, I'm not a huge asshole. I'm just doing the thing you say you want. Needs to be really, really clear, which is not in this case. And then the rest of it needs to be super finesse. This is a high skill play, and there's a bit of a skill issue.
Yeah.
So I respect the ambition, but wasn't quite able to pull it off.
Yeah, the thing this is now the third thing from Mero that I've read from Maris,
Mm-hmm.
and I've identified the same problem in all of it. You know, Rod, you mentioned the skill issue. Here, for those of you watching, here's the skill issue. You're falling for the trap. Here's a rant about bringing in ideas from Iman Gadzhi and like, this dude's views of the world and making money online, et cetera, et cetera. We have a little rant. It's very I focused, not very you focused, which makes no sense if you're trying to provide value to somebody. So we have these first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs that's about one thing. Then we have this explanation, which is about another thing, and sort of like weaving in different ideas. And then we have the portfolio, which is just slapped in there, as an afterthought. So we're at 3 ideas. And then we have this sort of like selling against yourself. So 4 different ideas. These are 4 ideas that are not really syncing together to make something cohesive or congruent or coherent. There's no golden thread. There's no conscious through line from first word to final word in this. And that's something that I've noticed is missing from like the previous cold email and the other thing of his that I've seen. There's no attention paid towards like transition and like really making sure that the reader is on this ride with you. It's very this is also going to sound a little xenophobic, but like it's very Eastern European. Like, I don't know if you guys have had experiences like talking to like no bullshit, no fluff Eastern European dudes. They all talk like this. Like, it's all very like in your face. It's all very direct. And the problem with that is that people are sensitive. And while there are certainly some people out there that appreciate, I'll use the word again, chutzpah, there's a lot of people that don't. They, and you as a copywriter need to sort of understand and know and strategize around, like, are you going to approach this person as like an alpha, like, listen, your marketing strategy is bullshit and here's why, versus, hey, I noticed a few things that might be suboptimal about your page. I said the same thing in two different ways, but you would use that terminology differently in accordance with whom you're trying to speak to. Mm-hmm. So, do you guys have anything else that you would say about that?
No, I agree.
We have a few comments.
Let's read them.
Let's see. It sounds like he's promoting a fight. Yeah, I don't want to like be too insulting, because the problem here is not that his ideas are bad. The problem here is that he's just having trouble stitching them together in a way that feels coherent and approachable. So I wonder how he would react if a client hired him and critiqued his work. Again, we no ad hominems, no insulting. But here, especially in text-based communication, there's a delicate balance between chutzpah and arrogance. Yes, thank you. You said it. It took me 5 fucking minutes to say what you just said in a single sentence. So thank you.
Thank you, Elliot. As always.
Appreciate you. Seriously.
It should just be Elliot's show, to be honest.
Yeah, the Elliot show. I love it.
Liquor.
We have a different, so same person, different proposal. So here, I'll read this one as well. Ahem. You need nerds, Nick. Well, not saying that nerds are a bad thing. In fact, they're good. But your target audience is mostly full of nerds, or people who like to follow theories and statistics in general. By understanding this, we can find the communities where people love science in general, like the subreddit of science, or multiple YouTube channels, etc. P.S. I also have a LinkedIn account with around 700-ish followers. Maybe I can get us a lead or two by recommending your book. Let me know what you think. That PS is not terrible, but let's talk about the first bits.
Again, I think just mirroring what you've just said, Sean, is it's the same problem. It's not even just ideas, it's also how ideas are being framed against like the last thing that's just been said. I think it almost smacks of how I used to write when I was trying to be clever and trying to kind of like weave sentences that kind of sounded like I was being a bit smart. But let's just listen to this. So you need nerds, Nick. Positive for nerds. Well, I'm not saying that nerds are a bad thing. Like, okay, well now we've kind of said that no, it could be a negative. In fact, they're good. Okay, now it's positive again. But okay, now let's go back to negative because you're saying, but the audience is mostly full of this. Like, it's just back and forth within one idea, and then layered on top of different things. So you're starting off with this vague statement about nerds, saying whether they're good or bad. Now you're saying your target audience is full of them, and you're introducing a context for what nerds means. And then you're saying, oh, and this is how we're going to find communities of people. Like, there's just so much going on within a few lines and I don't really understand how it's beneficial to me as the reader. Are you educating me on who I need to talk to? Like, because that's what it feels like. And
if I read this, like, why would I hire this person?
Yeah.
Like, what reasons have you really directly given me to want to hire you?
Yeah. I agree.
So, yeah, it's tough. It's the big thing that is going on here is what we've already talked about. I don't want to belabor the point or be insulting, but like, finesse, coherence, congruency, like, really speaking to people about their needs rather than like going on rants, things like that. Be more you focused. Think about things from the other person's perspective. I made a joke about it when I read the first thing, which is like, motherfucker, you need to learn how to be polite. And like, that's all politeness is. It's putting on a mask that is there to provide comfort for the other people around you. That's all decorum is. That's all politeness is. It's a mask you wear to hide true intentions and your true personality in order to make you seem more palatable to other people. I personally am of the opinion that society needs less empathy and more politeness, because I'm not interested in most people. I don't want to understand them. And you know what? You might agree. And so they're just a little bit of politeness, a little like veneer, a smack, like a little slathering of kindness coming through, I think is going to bring you a long way.
Being a nice person is the best networking strategy I have ever employed.
Yeah, it works for some of us better than others. I'm not naturally kind or nice or even fun to be around, so I get by on humor mostly.
Yeah. Natalier.
We have another Upwork profile. And we did not get very many submissions today, so we only have a couple more. So I think we're going to be able to call it an early stream, guys.
Wow, that's amazing. And it's daylight savings for you guys, which means it's even earlier here, so I get even more time than I would on a Wednesday.
Oh, nice. What are you going to do? Just hug your body pillow?
I wish I was doing
Paint
that.
your Warhammer figurines? Is that what you do?
My body pillows, my anime figures, and my Warhammer models are all going to watch me launch Pharmacy First. That's what's going to happen. Nice. I don't want to talk about right now.
Yeah, I need to go into the other room and continue working on a report about mixed reality stocks.
Oh, yeah. Mixed reality stocks. What does that mean?
What does it mean?
Like a miscegenation thing?
I mean, listen, I am always down for a little bit of miscegenation, Rod. Maybe we could get started.
Sexist. All right.
Racist,
sexists.
This is the Sean gets us canceled stream. I'm sorry, guys.
It's the 2-hour mark. It has to happen. Right. Come on. We've only got a few left. Let's read Natalie's.
Oh, she appears to have different profiles for different things, which is amazing. Very cool.
Smart.
Love that.
Didn't know that was a thing.
So all work. Sales copywriter for SaaS, e-commerce, and personal development. I like this better than just direct response copywriter, because it tells you specifically like the businesses you mainly work with, what you do. Like, even if I don't know what copywriter is, I understand sales. I understand writer. That's enough for me to like get a toehold on this concept. So that's nice.
Will you click the other profiles just to see how the title changes?
So email funnel copywriter for SaaS, health and wellness, and e-commerce. Specializes in email marketing.
Nice.
And then this is sales copywriting. Direct response copywriter, landing pages, sales pages, and Facebook ads. So like this for me is good. Like, because direct response copywriter has been given context that I can understand.
You know what that is, guys? That's specific landing page writing. That's what that is. That she's taken a homepage and she's made it landing pages. The different things.
I feel like we might have made some content about that relatively recently.
Nah, doubt it.
Couldn't be us.
No, you're not gonna swing at the fastball, make a plug.
Nope.
Fair. All right. So which of these profiles would you guys like to look at first?
We did a stream recently on landing pages.
Oh my God, Alex.
Okay. Let's go. Keep going.
Let's do the emails.
All right. I'm a copywriter who writes email sequences for creative entrepreneurs and small business owners. With my persuasive writing, I will guide your customer from maybe to I need this now. Fire emoji. How do I do it? Here's my easy 4-step method that will ensure your customer can't resist opening your emails and taking action. Check. We will discuss your business and project goals, big picture, and immediate action. Check. We will identify and clarify your offer and ideal customer. Check. I will get an idea of your brand voice. I will write engaging emails that align with your brand and ideal customer. I will get your feedback in the process. Easy, right? So far, I'm liking this. How do you guys feel so far?
It's favorite one that we've read.
Yeah, so far this is the best one that I think we've looked at. Below are a few examples of the types of emails I can write for you. Day 0 autoresponder message, welcome sequence, sales sequence, cart abandonment emails, re-engagement emails. A little about me. Compare this little transition to the previous set of cold emails that we just reviewed. Like this, when I'm talking about helping a reader understand like how to follow your line of logic, this is all I'm talking about. A little like contextual introductory blurb that helps us go from one idea to the next one. That's it. Super simple. I recently finished the Alex Catoni's Copy Posse Launchpad, an 8-week live copywriting coaching program with 2022's Marketer of the Year, Alex Catoni. Should we boo our competitor, or are we cool with Alex Catoni?
I want to be Marketer of the Year. How do we do that? Where do you apply for that?
I think we just need good marketing, like good PR.
Fuck
like
it. No, we're Marketers of the Year 2024. I'm saying it. It's a quote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Copy that.
Okay. Done. Everybody
Brilliant.
watching this, you've officially been mentored by the Marketers of the Year 2024, according to YouTube.
Just quote it. You don't need to say where it came from. Just quotation marks. It's easy.
I think we have to do a half-hearted boo for Alex Catoni because she's technically a competitor, even though we've no beef with her.
No, that's fine. I like her name.
However, this is a good use of credibility, and so props to Natalie for doing it this way because this is great.
No, I joke because I'm an asshole, but like, this is good. It's clear that this person not only knows what she's doing, knows how to frame herself, knows how to differentiate herself, and also understands like where things go in the hierarchy of messaging. Like, very direct, clearly benefit driven, clearly demonstrative of this, and implicitly, like, as we're going through, I feel reassured in hiring this person because
There's a
like
process.
the copy here feels like copy that I would want, you know?
Will you scroll back up just a tiny bit too? Because she does something so smart to the top of the thing. Yeah. So most people, when they start their profile, it's like, oh, I'm a copywriter who specializes in this. It's all them focused. Natalie uses that as an opportunity to say, I'm a copywriter who does this thing, and then calls out the audiences that she wants to work with. So it turns into an audience identification thing that people can be like, oh yeah, that's me. I'm a creative entrepreneur, or I'm a small business owner. And so that then lets her pivot immediately into what she's going to do for you in the context in which she's going to do it, and then how easy that process will feel, and then what deliverables she specifically wants to do. It makes so much sense, and it's so audience focused in an area where most people tend to talk about themselves. So like, just brilliant.
Yeah. No, this is a kick-ass profile from what I've read so far. Here's my one critique. Increase your rate. So that's my critique for this particular page so far. Yeah, because all of this is just like expanding on this idea. And that's what I think is really good about this compared to some of the other bits that we've watched. Like, we have introductions to ideas, and then the expansion of ideas, and then the gradual like contextualization and improvement upon those ideas such that I can understand how it benefits me. So really, really good. As a next step, please message me to set up this. Clear CTA. I love it. Great.
One critique I will give is that in that section where she says, so during the program, I learned the high converting and engaging copywriting principles. One thing I might be concerned about is that you say you recently finished this program. which means that you just learned these things, which to me might signal you might not be the most familiar with them. You're still kind of fresh. You're still kind of new. I think it's fine to be honest about having recently finished that program. However, don't say that during the program you learned that. Just kind of get into the importance of these things. So just instead of saying during the program, I learned to say, high converting and engaging copywriting principles, blah, 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 that are working today are more important than ever, or whatever you want to say it. Just kind of back off a little bit and don't be a little bit less humble.
Yeah. It's interesting. I've spoke about this on stream relatively recently, where it's like, guys need to chill the fuck out and be more humble, and girls, when they are trying to get into copywriting, need the confidence of a mediocre middle-aged man. Because Natalie clearly has displayed good copywriting skills, good understanding. This is good copy. This is a little bit less confident than I want. And I think Rod, made a very, very good point about this. Yeah. So kick up the confidence a few notches, Natalie. Do we want to look at a different the all work one? Because all the copy is different, and it's all. I mean, this is pretty much the same.
Yeah, let's do the all one.
All? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I offer risk reversal. Love that. Yeah, she understands what she's doing is making an offer. So she understands how people are landing on this and what people are looking for. So, yeah, and I just want to emphasize what Elliot's saying here. It's also a great lead to encourage the audience to click that read more button. So, very good stuff. I am a copywriter and content writer who can help your business increase revenue through compelling copy. Great. I specialize in social captions, Facebook ads, landing pages, emails, and sales pages. Plus, I save you time by taking care of the copy so that you can focus on running your business. Wins all around. Love it. With my persuasive writing, I will guide your customer from maybe to I need this now. And then we have a repeat from what we saw before. But here we have something new. Oh, and I offer 2 free revisions so that you can rest assured I'll get it just right for you. Love that. Not only is it specific, but it establishes a boundary, but still feels like a benefit. Mm-hmm. Super good. During the program, I wrote a complete... Yeah, nix this and just straight up say, I have become maybe change the wording around because I'm brain dead, but I've become adept at creating cohesive sales funnels, which you can view in my portfolio below.
Yeah. Add the word below. And the other one too, she did this. Maybe not everyone knows where it is. And so they're like, oh, what portfolio? Just say below, point people towards it. Just tiny thing, but important.
Yeah. In addition, I'm a digital nomad. I run a travel blog where I write about this experience. There are samples of my blog posts in my portfolio, or if you're curious to see the whole thing, check it out at this URL. As a next step, please message me to set up this. That's a copy that we've seen before. Yeah. Listen, I have absolutely everything that we've just talked about are nitpicks. I have no other nitpicks to really add because this is good.
This is, to me, I feel like I haven't been able to add much to what you guys are saying, honestly. But to me, I just put myself in the shoes of someone who's hiring. And reading this, I feel that, yes, this is the kind of thing that I'm looking for. Particularly in that, if we just go back to the email copywriter one. I know you mentioned this in all of them, Natalie, but how do I do it? And then there being a process gives me confidence that you know what you're doing. That is actually, even though it doesn't feel like it, that's part of your offer. I know you might be like, yeah, but I'm not saying I'm not doing risk reversal. I'm not talking about pricing. That's still part of your offer because it's what you are delivering. And that as someone who's hiring gives me confidence because it makes me feel like you're not just going to be making it up on the fly. You've done this before. You have a game plan. Great. So yeah, I like it.
Natalie, pat yourself on the back. You're doing great. Like, again, like seriously, if I were hiring you and I got to this, I would want to see something like 30 to 35 bucks for the kinds of stuff that you're talking about. Because at that point, if I'm hiring somebody for that, I want the price that I pay to be commensurate with what my expectations are in terms of quality. And like here, I feel like you're underselling yourself a little bit. You can always, for certain people and certain proposals, like have a lower rate or offer like a promotional rate. Like, hey, for this first email sequence, I'm down to try $25 an hour, but my normal rate is typically $35 an hour. And then just kind of go from there. But again, Rod knows the politics of Upwork a little bit better than me, but I've paid a lot of money to a lot of freelancers on Upwork, and this is a good profile. So everybody, learn from Natalie.
Yeah, I one thing I've done before is like I've raised my like display rate just like as the base thing. But when you apply to jobs, you can apply it whatever you want. And so if you see something that's like below your stated rate, you can still apply to that and like go from there, have a discussion about future stuff beyond that. So yeah, I do think there is a bit of a thing though with maybe perceived value or sort of like anchoring your value through your hourly rate on there. And if there's some competing thoughts on this, but one thing is like, okay, if you go low, then maybe more people will hire you because you're more affordable, but maybe then you aren't perceived as like being attractive for those higher paying gigs. If you go high, you can always like go down from that, but then someone who's like posting a job for $20, $25 an hour, who is having someone bid who's typically 50 feels like they're getting a value from it. So I'd play around with it, see what works for you, but not a huge deal either way.
Okay. We have two more things left to look at. Oh, we have a question. What is the value of using an hourly rate versus a project rate? Is that just an Upwork Fiverr thing?
I assume that Fiverr and Upwork make you set an hourly rate.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I always prefer to charge by project.
Yeah.
For reasons we've discussed before. The only way I charge by hour now is if someone asks for my time on a call, and I can charge. Charging hourly typically tends to be better, but most people will not pay you hourly, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like for me as my threshold like for charging hourly starts at £150 an hour. So like it doesn't make sense for someone to pay me that for a whole project because they're going to be spending loads and loads of money. So that's why I just reserve it as, hey, if someone just wants a couple bits from me or wants some consulting, that's what I'll charge. But in almost every other case, it makes sense to do by project for both parties.
Yeah. I have always been a fan of fixed rates for projects more so than hourly rates. But I've also found that most freelancers, when they get started, don't have a very good sense of how long it's going to take them to do something. And so you might consider starting out hourly and then transitioning to project once you get a better sense of how long it takes you to do stuff. But yeah, so like, for example, I'm the CFO of like Copy That, and I handle the finances for most of my businesses. And when I'm working with freelancers and they're doing hourly projects, I get big nervous because I don't know what that invoice is going to look like.
Yeah.
With fixed like per project things, I'm much more likely to want to work with people again because I know what that's going to do to the budget. I know what that's going to do to the monthlies. Like I know, which is reassuring to me, and that makes me want to hire you more. So.
Yeah. And it also, like, to be honest, paying someone hourly incentivizes them to take longer and or be inefficient.
Yep.
And so if someone's really good and they can do something good fast, they would get paid less than somebody who's like, mediocre and will take longer to do the same thing and give you a less good result. And so the incentives don't align for the person doing the job, the person posting the job when it's hourly.
Yep, I agree 100%. I think we have one more Upwork profile and one more pitch. What do you guys want to look at first?
I actually got a jet.
Oh, you got a jet?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately.
I'm jealous.
I'm sorry.
I wish I had a jet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Rod, thank you for joining this wonderful critique stream. As always, your insights and your presence and your handsomeness has been much appreciated by me.
Thank you so much. And I'm sure by Alex as well. My only ask is that one, if you turn up the crankiness and meanness to account for me having been gone. So
we'll do that.
All right,
Goodbye,
Alex,
Rod.
I'm trusting you to be as mean as possible for this next one.
I can do that. All right. Bye, Rod. Now we can talk to Rod's mom without him being here.
Miss Jackson, what's up?
I can see it. I know no one can see this because they're not in StreamYard, but we can still see Rod below because he hasn't fully left the studio yet, and he was just flipping the bird to us. So, Mrs. Jackson. Anyway, go on, Rod. You have ads to write.